So The Raid Redemption is my most watched video on YouTube, and I don't know why it took me this long to do the second Raid movie, but let's go into what might be the greatest martial arts movie ever made. The Raid 2, Berandal. The Raid 2 picks up right after the first Raid movie. Rama, who's our main character, he is kind of he's not tricked, but he's kind of forced into going undercover in order to knock down the syndicate, in order to protect his family and his brother especially, and all these people. Now the syndicate is just like all the families that are like drug lords and all that stuff. So in order to do that, he has to go to prison on purpose to become friends with one of the sons, and he saves his life a few times, and they become really good friends, and then he gets in, right? And then the rest of the movie is him kind of working his way through and having to decide if he should save some people or not. And this movie is a lot different than the first Raid movie. The first one was very simple. You have a building, and you have to clear floor by floor all the way to the top, and that's the end. This movie is much bigger. It's a full movie. I would say the Raid was a very small movie, like low budget. You could kind of tell by the feel of the movie. The Raid 2 is not that way. It has some massive set pieces that are awesome, beautiful, and some great action sequences that we didn't get in the first one. There's a great car action sequence with the camera, and the camera actually goes through the car and out the other window to the other car. Some cool behind the scenes on that. Then it also has different types of martial art. Now, the first one, it was very simple. It was, okay, fight or die. Just like run in there, kill a bunch of people, in any way possible, and then get up to Mad Dog, beat Mad Dog, get to the end, that whole thing. This one is more structured like a traditional movie. The fights are definitely what it's based around. Now, there's like three main fights in this movie. There is the fight between Rama and the two siblings. Insane fight. Those two are nuts. The thing I remember most about this movie is those two, and yet they have such a small role in the movie. But that fight is just intense and insane and just super well choreographed. The other one is the one where the guy that played Mad Dog is actually back in this movie, but he plays a different character. At one point, he has to fight off a whole room of people, and it's so awesome to see. And then the final fight, and I mean the final of these three that I mainly talk about, is Rama versus the main villain in this movie, his equal in terms of martial arts. And that fight takes place in a kitchen, and it is so awesome. Now, these fight scenes are so choreographed that they almost look like a dance, and they're almost fake. Well, they are fake. They feel more fake than the ones did in The Raid or in a traditional martial arts movie. So you really have to be on board with, okay, he's going to fight this guy for 10 minutes. He's going to get like not his Achilles, but right behind his knee, gets cut with a knife, right? He's limping around. Next scene, fighting again. So you really have to get over this, okay, clearly nobody could live like he does. Nobody could fight like he does in reality because he gets so injured in ways that you can't just overcome. Like, you cut a tendon, doesn't matter. You can't move that leg. Those kind of things happen in this movie, and you just got to be okay with that and move on. So as long as you're okay with that and super choreographed fights, these fights are so cool because nobody does choreography like these kind of movies, like the Raid movies do. They do choreography so well, it's insane. Now, I think if you're comparing the two movies, the Raid is... Well, boy, it's really hard for me to decide between The Raid and The Raid 2 because they're so vastly different. Kind of like between John Wick and John Wick 2. Those are very similar as well. John Wick was a very small, kind of condensed movie. John Wick 2 got big. Which one's better? I don't know. I think The Raid 2 is a better movie, but it also goes to way more extremes. Whereas The Raid is so condensed and it creates boundaries in the movie because they're in a building. They can't do anything else. No outside help. That makes it so much more intense than The Raid 2. The Raid 2 had moments where I was just like, yeah, he's going to beat these guys and move on. I don't care. Whereas The Raid, people kept dying and all this stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, is he going to make it the whole time? I think that was really powerful in the first movie, whereas it lacked a little bit in the second movie. This is one of those movies that I think if you love martial arts, you have to see these movies. Now, they are extremely bloody, extremely violent, lots of language in them, but it's also all subtitled. So, you decide, I guess. But I think these movies are awesome. I own them both on Blu-ray. These movies make me want to go watch more movies from Indonesia and just other foreign films that, like, man, we don't get this kind of action in the US. We just don't. And so we need to start looking elsewhere for better movies because we're just pumping out a bunch of garbage out of Hollywood right now. And movies like The Raid 2 are coming out and nobody's talking about them. They're not hitting theaters. Well, if they are, nobody knows that they are and stuff like that. So I think go watch The Raid 2. If you like the first Raid movie, do it. You will not regret it. It is a great martial arts movie. Is it the greatest martial arts movie ever? Probably not. I think it's not influential enough in martial arts or in the movie world like some of the Bruce Lee movies did, or even the movie Hero, or some of Jet Li's stuff. There's all these other movies that just impacted cinema more than The Raid and The Raid 2. But the fighting alone of The Raid 2 is off the charts, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a movie with better fighting. That's my take on it. I love it. I love the fake choreographedness of it. It's like a dance, and I love that. I think it worked out really well in the movie. So have you seen The Raid 2? Let me know if you have. What did you think? Did you like it better than the first one or not as much? It's kind of, it's a split. I've talked to people that like both sides. I'm going to say I like the first one more, but I think the better one's a better movie. It's really tough because I can pull parts out of each one. So let me know what you think. And John Wick 3 is coming out soon, so I will get to my John Wick reviews. I don't even know if I've done a John Wick review. If I haven't, then I will get to those before the third one comes out. All right, have a good time. Peace.